Welcome to the It Doesn't Hold Up podcast. We review and reevaluate all things we remember fondly from our childhood and years prior to see if they still hold up. And more often than not, they probably don't. I'm Stuart Shepherd, along with my co-host and good friend Michael Smith. Smith, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I've been spending all day sitting here working on Big Red.
Big Red? Would you like to
What I
elaborate?
call, it's what I call my penis.
Oh, not your lawnmower.
Nope, I live in a flat.
You do. I thought you were going to lie to me and say you spent the whole day gardening. I was like, that Smith is a lie, unless you've been wandering around other people's gardens again.
Just mowing their lawns again and again and again.
Indeed, a little pee. Right. Well, before we talk about the fascinating subject of lawn mowing, I just want to talk about last week's episode feedback, which was Teen Wolf. Now, I don't know what feedback you got, Smith, but I got, again, a mixed bag. So I got, and I quote, I too thought that song was David Bowie. Da!
Well, who do you people think David Bowie is? David Bowie.
Also, someone said, I want that Dick Nose t-shirt. I kind of want that Dick Nose t-shirt as well, just so, retrospectively I could wear it in class. And someone said...
In class? What, 20 odd years ago?
Yeah. Or I'll just enroll in some night school so I can wear it. And the last one was, that is the shittest basketball playing I've ever seen. Oh dear. And yes, it was, which is quite apt because you said like an hour's worth of sports footage was cut out of it. So Lord only knows what that was.
Well, they said it was some of the worst sports footage they'd ever seen on the cutting room floor. And I was like, well, you've seen the stuff you put on screen.
Exactly. Hardly ideal. Don't know if you got anything supplementary to that.
The only thing I got was, why is it called Teen Wolf when he is obviously in his 20s?
Well, they're obviously in their 20s. If it was like really Teen Wolf, then they'd look about 10. So yeah, which would be odd. Anyway, right. So on to this episode's nomination, which came from Smith. Now, for some God only known reason, you decided to nominate The Lawnmower Man from 1992.
Stu, I apologise.
Yes, thank you. Apology accepted.
I've made a mistake.
Yes, but I absolutely insisted we were only covering the theatrical version, not the director's cut. We will make mention of some things from the director's cut, but we're predominantly going to be following the theatrical version. Although, interesting, sometimes it's very even hard to get the theatrical cut. A lot of the time, the DVDs and whatever, whenever it's on Sky or whatever, it always seems to be the director's cut rather than the theatrical. Who knew?
So I went out and bought this on DVD from our local fine purveyor of DVDs. There was two DVDs. There was the special edition that had all of the extras, and then there was the 10th anniversary edition. But unfortunately, the 10th anniversary edition was the only one that had a disc in it. Now, I don't know if anyone out there ever feels like buying this film on DVD. Do not get the 10th anniversary edition. It has no extras, and the transfer is one of the most god-awful, ugliest, shittiest pieces of footage I think I've ever had to sit through.
Really? But it's the theatrical or director's cut, the 10-year anniversary.
Still theatrical, but it is literally, it's one of those DVDs with special features is select a scene.
Yeah, subtitles.
No subtitles.
Oh, okay.
Select a scene, trailer.
Right. No, well, at least that's a trailer. Well, I watched mine on YouTube because some kind soul illegally put it up on there, and it was a theatrical version. So thank you very much for that. Right. So to give you a brief synopsis, it is about a mentally challenged individual named Job, who is the local.
They use.
Yes. Well, no. We're going to be very careful talking about this, but yes, he is the local gardener and maintenance person of a small town, I believe, and then he gets an opportunity to become, inverted commas, smarter by the use of virtual reality technology. Yeah.
Virtual reality equals ? Equals smarter.
Yeah, exactly. This came out in America in March 1992. We got it in June 1992. So we've not covered 1992 yet, thank God. So not 1994, 1992. So I gave Smith explicit instructions to please get proper news from 1992. And then in addition, if you would like, some weekly world news. So take it away, Smith. What was going on in 1992?
Stu, I ignored those instructions, and I've accepted. No, I'm joking. 1992 was a big year, right? So this is what the Queen referred to as annus horribilis, because of a number of scandals that rocked the royal family in the UK and the fire at Windsor Castle. But in more positive news, the Premier League was formed in 1992. Disneyland Paris officially opened. The European Union is formed, somehow less importantly than Disneyland. In popular culture, we are first seeing Goosebumps. The novels are first published in 1992. Batman, the animated series, and the X-Men animated series both premiere in 1990. It's a good year. And Mortal Kombat first arrives on computers in 1992. In other news, 4 nuclear missiles are launched into the Pacific Ocean at some point during 1992. To date, no Godzilla. But I'm saying it's only a matter of time.
Now, hang on a minute. Is that Weekly World News or did that shit actually happen?
Nope. Weekly World News had for us this. Space probe finds dinosaurs on Mars, including a front cover picture which looks suspiciously like some iguanas. That is all of the big news from 1992. So kind of a monumental year. There's a lot going on, especially for the UK and Europe. The formation of the European Union. And then this film comes into our lives.
Indeed, it
Lawnmower
did.
Man, which dares to dream of a future where virtual reality is a thing that isn't just used for pornography.
Indeed. So, 1992. I would have been, if it came out in June, I would have been 7. You would have been 7 as well. So, we were 7. But did you see it straight away, or was it a little bit later? And how did you see it? Was it video? Was it TV? What was it?
So I would have seen this probably when I was about 10 or 12. So we're looking at 95 to 97, somewhere in that range. And I would have seen it on VHS, almost certainly borrowed from a friend because I never owned this until now. So it would have been watching it at home or watching it around a friend's house.
Interesting.
How about you?
Well, if it came out in cinema in June 1992, then it would have been out on video early 1993. So, yeah, that's probably when my mum and dad would have rented it. Now, we have mentioned it before on this podcast. The knockoff Blockbuster video was one called Ritz, which is a very tiny Blockbuster video, and it was yellow. And I distinctly remember going there with my dad, and The Lawnmower Man was the newest release. And there was a slightly bogus statement on the front of the video has better special effects than Terminator 2.
Let me tell you, that bogus claim exists still on the front of the DVD.
Good God. But yeah, better special effects than Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is a film that's 33 years old and the effects still hold up. They're still fucking incredible, right? And you dare to say that Lawnmower Man has better special effects than Terminator 2?
This film doesn't have better special effects than the original King Kong, which came out about 70 years before it.
Oh, God. But yes, so I remember us bringing it home, us putting it on, me getting incredibly bored with it after about 10 minutes, walking off, but coming back and watching the finale. So I remember bits and pieces of it. I'm glad I didn't watch all the awkward sex scenes that we'll get to with my parents. But yeah, I remember it, how it starts and the ending. And the ending is kind of cool, but we'll explore that later. So yeah, that was it.
I was so, yeah, okay.
There we go. Well, that's probably a good moment for us to dive straight into the plot, unless you have any other scenes. You chose this bloody film, Smith. It's your own doing.
Deservedly for this. I think I was about 5 minutes in and I was like, oh, I've made a mistake.
I've made a terrible mistake.
I am too tired to sit through this.
What'll be fun if we get to all of this? Does it hold up? Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. For the verisimilitude of this podcast, am I allowed to fast forward through any bits of the films we watch?
As long as you can still come here and prepare to have a discussion, then yeah, sure, why not?
Good. Not to say that I fast forwarded through any of this. But...
No, of course not. Well, just thank God we wasn't doing the director's cut. Anyway.
40 extra minutes.
Anyway, so we begin with some very Terminator-looking text foreshadowing about the dangers of virtual reality for the future. No. Really?
I'm going to tell you exactly what it says here. I wrote this down. By the turn of the millennium, a technology known as virtual reality will be in widespread use. It will allow you to enter computer-generated artificial worlds as unlimited as the imagination itself. Its creators foresee millions of positive uses, while others fear it as a new form of mind control.
Sure.
Do you know what we've used it for? Computer games where people stumble into their furniture and porn.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, not porn, but do you remember we did that awesome thing with the zombies called Virtually Dead? That was really good. Yeah, that was real good. But that was fun for about an hour and a half. I was like, oh, I've had enough of this. I'm not sure I want to plug into virtual reality every single night for the rest of my life. Anyway, so after that foreshadowing of virtual reality, we cut to virtual space industries.
I've written that down. And it's barely readable. The way they've done it. Yeah, I was kind of looking at it like, what does that fucking say? Like,
Yeah, and I couldn't work out if it was the shitty copy I was watching on YouTube or whether it's just badly filmed. I think it's just badly filmed, but it's really dark, dingy. You can't really
yeah,
read anything.
I mean,
It's
actually, I thought it was my transfer, but it's an
no
ugly film. It's an ugly
ugly,
film.
ugly, ugly. But yeah, we cut to the secret base. We meet Dr. Larry Angelo, played by Pierce Brosnan, with an earring. So yeah.
With an earring. It's a stupid fucking name, Larry Angelo.
Larry, yeah. Sometimes you refer to him as Lawrence, but predominantly it's Larry.
I mean, this is it, right? It's one of those things that takes me out of the film. It's Pierce Brosnan plays a scientist. He's not a fucking scientist. I don't
He's
believe
too
that for a
sexy to be a
minute.
scientist. Yeah. He's Bond. Anyway, so he's talking to Sebastian Timms, and he's saying that his work is to make chimps smarter, not setting up for war, and he's not going to increase the aggression drugs any further as it would destroy the chimp's mind. I'm like, okay.
It drops you right in. It's like there's no soft landing here. It's like we're just straight into it. And I've written this down. I've occasionally written down bits of the techno babble in this because it drove me fucking insane trying to listen to this film. This is always they want him to train in virtual realities to use the infrared battle helmet.
Oh, that battle helmet!
Talking about it.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if you remember Ron Simmons' short-lived WCW run where he ended up being world champion and wore a blue Nerf helmet. It's a fucking monkey in a Nerf helmet.
It's absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. And then Timms is talking about all the funding is coming from the shop. The shop are the bunch of people who are sponsoring Pierce Brosnan's research. Presumably, they're using all this mind control shit because they want to make a super soldier or something to go into war or some crap using this battle helmet.
Is what I assume is happening here. I don't know. I did get confused by this Tim's character at certain points. I was kind of watching it going, why am I on the telly?
Yes.
Is that I don't remember being in this film, but apparently.
Yeah, it's plausible. You've looked about 40 all your life, but yeah.
But fuck off.
Yeah.
Day over 39.
No, of course not. And then we get shots of this chimp looking ridiculous with a helmet, and then when he's in the thingy,
stupid. Why is it in a gyroscope? It doesn't make any sense. All you're gonna do is have monkey vomit all over everything.
It's so stupid. And then we get some shit virtual reality computer effects of the chimp in battle mode. It's like, hang on, what is he just playing a game? Is he shooting people for real? What is this? What is this?
It's an ugly game as well. It's a stupid what the
yeah,
is this meant to be mind control? Just playing a shit computer game.
Exactly. Turn it off. Turn it off. Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
The effects are horrible. And then we see this clever old chimp in his stupid helmet pick his lock in his cage, and then off he goes.
You don't see him pick the lock. You see the lock get picked by someone just off screen because they couldn't be bothered to get a monkey glove.
No, true. And then at this point, I thought, is this Hollow Man? Because he's got a Hollow Man started off. They're in a lab. The cage gets open. A monkey runs along and eats something. It's like, fuck knows.
You want a shorthand for bad science? Escaping monkey. That'll do it. Yeah. 28 days later, same thing. Escaping monkey. Yeah.
Planning games. Yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah, lazy. And then the chimp engaged his battle helmet to escape, and it looks suspiciously Predator-like.
Yeah. I've got Terminator vision for no reason written down here.
Terminator and Predator vision. And then he acquires a guard's gun from his holster, and he gets shoot with a guard and kills him.
I've written down here, you got your pocket picked by a fucking chimp, you idiot. It's just sitting there. It's also, it looks like a big whiff of TV movie coming off it.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
It feels like everything. The sets look like an episode of The Outer Limits. There's not enough extras. Everything's filmed really flat. It's just
And it's weird because we'll cover it later.
So much slow-mo.
And considering there was a 10 million budget for this, it looks cheap and tacky.
It looks awful. It looks terrible. Man. And then sorry, go on.
No. We could go on all day about it. So let's move on. He then steals the guard's card key to further escape, and then the guards are after the chimp. And then like you said, we get these weird slow motion from some of the guards.
I enjoyed the bit of the chimp putting the key card through the little swipe.
So elegantly.
He's gonna get out of it.
Oh, it's so stupid. I mean, we're going to talk in a bit why the director's cut is different, but we'll get to that in a second. And then we get sexy Pierce Brosnan wakes up from a nightmare with a massive hairy chest. And like an absolute scumbag, he lights up a fucking bed.
Just to go back to this, just before when the chimp was attacking those men escaping, his man's greatest foe, a chimp of above average intelligence. I mean, those guards would be fucked if it was an actual human running
Well,
around.
exactly. Or if it was Invisible
Beaten by
Kevin
a chimp
Bacon.
been beaten by a chimp with a gun.
Oh, so stupid. Um, yeah, and I've also put this is not the only time we're going to see Pierce Brosnan topless and smoking. And then, for some reason, there's warfare footage on his TV on every single channel. What fucking satellite do you subscribe to? Oh my god!
It's just this bit is really weird because he wakes up and it's like, was it a dream about the chimp or is it a flashback to say that happened much earlier? No, because they call him up in a minute to tell him the chimp has been killed. It's like, so he was dreaming about the thing that was happening right now. What the fuck? I've written so many times. I've written down why or what.
Oh yeah, oh totally.
What's going on? I don't fucking know.
I mean, we'll get into a bit about what's different about the director's cut in a minute, but no, that's a good point. Did that happen? Was it a nightmare? Was he remembering some shit that happened? Who knows? Who knows? Yep, his wife is understandably pissed he's smoking in bed. Gets out of bed. As she would be. Yep, yep. Then he sees his abusive neighbour knocking his wife and son about out the window. I mean,
it's the middle of the night. Has he woken him up to slap him about? Get up!
Son, get up! Like... And then, yeah, just like you said, the phone then rings and it's the secret base saying the chimp is dead and as it tried to escape. Now, in the director's cut, there's a whole different open where the chimp actually escapes because, you know, he got the key card and opened the door and ran off. And then
actually made it out in his little Nerf helmet.
Maybe got into a car and drove to where these people live.
held someone hostage, give him a lift. I'll drive, mister, I'll drive. Oh, you don't need to slap me. Oh, I'm driving as fast as I can. But I like country. I don't want you.
Stop. Enough. Yeah, so in the director's cut, we meet Job a lot earlier because the monkey has made it to Job's shack and they sort of become friends. And then Pierce Brosnan and all of his guards turn up and then they shoot the monkey. But none of this crap happens in the theatrical. Pierce Brosnan just gets a call saying the chimp tried to escape. We shot it.
There's a bit in the extended cut where Pierce Brosnan is trying to rationalize with a monkey via a megaphone.
The banana.
Come out with your hands up.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So back to the theatrical cut. We're at the secret base and Larry's angry about the chimp being killed, saying that he was the key to moving on to a human subject or something. And then he's going to get his funding elsewhere. And then Timms reminds him that no, the shop dictate what he does and they're in charge. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I wrote down it's something that Pierce Brosnan says, virtual reality holds the key to the evolution of the mind. And I've written, does it fuck?
Yeah, does it fuck?
At this point, Timms then says, look, Larry, why don't you take a hiatus, play the game a bit, we'll have a restructure here, and you can come back when all the dust settles. Like, okay, fine. So now this is when we meet Job for the first time, not like the director's cut. So we cut to a church with some spooky gothic music. Then we meet his friend Terry. It's a drunk Irish mate going, what, Job, what's going on?
So it's Jeffrey Lewis, who is Juliette Lewis's dad.
Oh, really? He's not even Irish.
No, he's not Irish. I was like, why is he doing Irish? I was like, hello there, Job. How are you doing? I'm a drunk. I'm going to have a little bit of the whiskey. It's like someone's got the big bumper book of Irish stereotypes gone, drunk, bad accent.
But you know what? I think I read he's supposed to be the brother of Father McKean, who's also Irish in this, unless I've read that wrong. Because Father McKean's Irish, isn't he? Or is he just American with a bit of a strong accent?
American with an accent. He's not.
Okay, fine. Then I've read that wrong. Ignore that then. So yeah, Terry goes to see Job in his shack that he lives in. And we meet Job, and Job's like a cross between Trey Parker from Basketball and Chucky from Child's Play.
You know that he's got learning difficulties because he's wearing dungarees
and his hair's
with one of the straps down, and he shouts all his dialogue.
Yep. And he's got some weird Jesus shrine with a chalkboard in it with loads of marks in it. I'm like, is that supposed to be like every time he sinned, he has to like mark down with a chalk? Because Father McKean's a real arsehole in this.
I do that, but it's more of a point of pride.
I sinned today.
Brilliant. Yes, I fucking shout.
Yes, you shall. Then we see that Terry's impressed with Job's lawnmower and already went, oh, look at all red. Oh, that's amazing, marvellous. And then
I bet you'll be using that tomorrow, Lord O'Toole, let me tell you. If you know what I mean. And I mean mowing lawns.
What is the point of Terry in this? There is no point.
There's no point to him. And he disappears about halfway through.
He does.
He's loads of characters just to come and go in this film.
I think the director's cut has more of them, but again, we'll come to that. So then we cut to the gas station, so Joe can get gas for the mower, and we meet L.A. Knight. Sorry, Jake. And then he comes out to give Job shit about something or other while smoking a fag. And Job's like, "That's dangerous." And Joe's like, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't smoke."
You shouldn't be smoking around the petrol. You'll blow yourself up, like, you know.
Oh Christ! And then we're back to the secret base, and we get a video call with Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad,
doing a British accent for some reason.
I know he's got the watch down. What is this accent he's got? Oh yes, Project 5. Yeah. Then they're saying about there's no project without Larry, but he'll be back one way or another. Ooh. And then cut to Larry playing with his VR machine at home. And I don't know about you, but you seem to be enjoying it a little bit too much of my life. Making like, ooh,
yeah. Every time someone's in the VR machine in this, they're like, it's like, what is going on in that fucking machine? No wonder his wife's pissed off. He's down in his wanky basement on his.
Yeah, because she comes down, she's like, what, floating, food? What's the next thing? Fucking? Like that. And then
clearly he's already doing it.
Exactly. And she's all angry with him because he's not going to take her to the city. And then we get an God.
Sorry, there's a line here where she unplugs this thing where he says, "Never unplug a program while I'm engaged. You ruin the whole effect." It's not dangerous. You're just ruining it.
Oh, thanks a lot, Caroline. And then we get some really awkward making out, and then they stop, and he says, "Oh no, I want to stay at home, and I'm obsessed." You're obsessed with your work. I'm like, oh, all right.
You've gone in that basement is going to be caked in jizz.
So much jizz. Then what happens? Then we cut to Joe mowing the lawn, and then 10-year-old Peter comes to see him, played by that kid who's in Last Action Hero. And he always seemed to be in a lot of movies around about this sort of time as well, like My Girl 2 and other sorts of shit. We see that Larry's having a whiskey during the day, and then this isn't the first time he does this.
No.
And he spots Job and Peter out of his window, so he goes to say hello to them. And then Job's shitback abusive father then arrives. And they just start slapping the piss out of Peter. Oh, to leave your bike outside for?
It's the very dry sub parks right next to the bike, and they just aggressively opens the door, knocking it over. It's like, you could see the bike was there. Just park a bit further up that very long drive. Oh, you leave fucking bike, get over here. So stupid. And I don't know whether this is the director's cut or whether it's this bit, because later on in that car, the side of it smashed the fuck. I'm like, hang on, was there a scene when the car got smashed, or is this when he just drove into his bike that was just lightly resting up against a post? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, he starts slapping and then he says, "Oh yeah, stop hanging around with like Job, or otherwise you'll turn stupid too." I was like, oh God, this man's the worst. He's the absolute worst. We then have our very first long extended lawn mowing montage. I mean, you get a couple of them here, a couple of montages of someone mowing lawns. So if you're looking for Trey's description, the Lawnmower Man definitely features in this film.
He definitely mows lawns in this film.
He mows the same lawns again and again and again. I don't quite know why he's mowing the lawns that much.
Yeah, it's not as if we're getting tons of rain and sunshine, which making the lawn grow a lot. It's just quite consistent weather. But yeah. There you go. So then we cut back to the church and we get Father McKean. He's talking to himself aloud and complaining about Job not doing his chores and he's cleaning up bugs. So then he goes into Job's shack. He just starts beating the shit out of him with a leather belt. And then this thing had strong nonce vibes. He says, "Which of God's lessons helps you learn best, Job?" What other lessons are there?
This is the bit just before that when he's in the church and he's kind of like, oh, he's not done his chores. And he's like, he'll have the wrath of God on himself, just like his namesake. And it's like, right, unless the metaphor was too subtle for us. We really need to spell that out. Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah. Because Job has been adopted by the church. We never really get much of his backstory about he's an orphan or why he's there or whatever. But yes, the church took him in so they could abuse him. So there.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why the church takes in any child.
Exactly. And then we cut back to Larry. He's having another daytime whiskey and a fag.
Oh, I forgot to. Yeah, this is where he's going to go. I've only had a human subject. I said, if only. There's Joe mowing the lawn again.
No. You're skipping ahead a bit.
I'm skipping ahead.
That is a similar sort of scene. No, during this bit, that's when his wife tells him that he's leaving. He's like, all right, love, ta-da. He doesn't make much of a fuss at all. It's just like, can't you see what all the stress I'm under? I'm so depressed. And then he goes, all right, I'm going. I'll go then.
She's like, I'm drinking all that whiskey today will probably help. Won't help your depression. She's like, I guess it won't.
No, it won't, Larry. It really won't,
mate.
Larry.
Stop day drinking, mate.
Oh, now this is interesting because the director's cut, the wife doesn't leave him. She sticks around for most of the movie, and then right at the end, I mean, I suppose we could do spoiler alert because I don't know what part to interject this. Job ends up killing her like that, but for no
he ends
fucking
up
reason.
mind controlling her and getting her to shoot at some people that then shoot her.
Yeah, exactly.
In this, she just walks out of the film and doesn't come back.
No, and he doesn't care. It's like, oh, all right. But
she's never mentioned again.
It's never, ever. But the director's cut, she does stick around. She's in a few more scenes and stuff. And then, yeah. But I don't know. Because we'll get to it later. But when Job is taking revenge on people have wronged him, I was like, the hell did Pierce Brosnan's wife do to you? Nothing. But yeah, there you go. Oh, we get Job praying aloud in his shack. Then we get Larry making one of the first of many audio journals about human subject. Yeah, this is the bit. It's like, if only I had a human subject. Oh, look, there's Job cutting the lawn. He's a simpleton.
As that guy, that simpleton that bones my lawn every day.
Every day.
I've asked him not to.
Yeah. Does he even get paid for it? Is it just kind of like community service for him doing this? It's never really.
He's there with Big Red. It was a bit earlier with the kid where the kid was like, "Wow, you finished Big Red." It's like, why does everyone give a shit about this lawnmower?
Oh, what do you mean? What is it? A do-it-yourself kit to make your own lawnmower or something?
Been working on it for years.
Yeah,
doesn't work. No one tell him; it'll upset him.
So then, yeah, Larry comes outside to speak to Job while he's maintaining his lawnmower, and he says, "Oh, do you want to play some games at his house?" I'm like, hang on.
Yeah. Oh, the weird.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Job agrees immediately. He doesn't even go, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "Yeah, okay." He just gets up.
He's like, I have different games in my house. Would you like to come inside and play? But just our secret though between us, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. But Job starts off playing very simple games. They're like picture games on Larry's PC. And then it cuts to, now this looked cool. Job and Peter are playing some sort of flight simulator game. Like, hang on a minute. How's he got the room for this in his basement? That's absolutely enormous, that game they're playing. But this is probably the only effects in it. If it was a game, it was purely a game, not virtual reality. Like, that looks kind of fun. They're kind of flying around and racing each other and stuff. So that looks good.
It's a bit like that though. He's like, this technology is the future. Is like this computer game in your basement.
It's 16-bit computer game in your basement.
Is the future, is it? That's going to help mankind reach the next level, sitting in a basement.
Yeah, not going out into interactive society. You want people to play games for the rest of their lives. That's the future of evolution. All right, mate.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then Job's a bit despondent that, I wasn't very good at that game. And then Larry says that, I can make you smarter with games. Then he was like, I was born dumb. I was like, but so far, I'm like, he's not that dumb, is he? Not really. He's not misunderstanding.
He's a bit childlike.
That's it. He's a bit childish.
That's it.
Immature. You know, like that's probably why he's hanging out with Peter and he reads comics. Because in the director's cut, he reads a hell of a lot more comics and he's always talking about comics and all that sort of stuff. But he's not stupid, for the want of a better word.
It's the bit where Pierce Brosnan says to him, people take advantage of you, don't they? Like I'm about to.
Yeah, he's like, but this will be our little secret, won't it? We won't tell anyone. It's like, so what are you doing? You're doing exactly what you don't want people to do to Job, right?
Yeah, you take advantage of him. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan is not a good guy in this.
No, he's not.
By the end, they're like, "Oh, he's the hero." He's fucking not. He's awful.
No, he smokes too much. He drinks too much. He has his shirt off too much. It's just
he takes advantage of people.
Yeah. Oh,
he does nothing to stop multiple people dying.
Nothing at all. Including the director's cut, his wife. Yeah, and then what do we get? Yeah, then we cut to the church and Job's talking to a statue of Jesus for some reason, and Father McKean's looking on disapprovingly, like, woo. And then get Larry doing health checks on Job, and he gives him a dosage of something or other, and then Job is excited. He's like, that looks like a gun. I was like, I mean, sort of. Don't know what guns you've seen. Yeah.
Man, cool. Yeah.
Cool. And then he starts using the VR tech, and then Larry does something or other with his brain. It's like flashing images which startle him. It's like, if people had epilepsy watching this film, there might be in a lot of trouble. There's no warning whatsoever at the start of this movie. There's tons of flashing images. Yeah, then what? Then Larry does a journal and says Job is responding well so far, but he needs to up the drugs and the treatment. It's like, okay. And then
that won't go badly.
No. And then we get a really, really weird scene where Job's mowing the lawn and Terry goes, Job, are you okay? And he's like, I'm hungry. And he was like, well, go eat. And then
he sat that down. It's like every line is delivered so broadly. It's just so badly. It's just so bad. It's like, what's the matter? I'm hungry. Well, go eat. It's like, shit advice.
It's so bad.
What is that?
I don't know. And
Someone
then,
wrote that, sat at the end of the way and went, fucking nailed it.
oh my
That's how
God.
people talk.
And this bit's so weird because then, like, Job starts eating his sandwich and suddenly he starts seeing his horny neighbour Marnie across the way eating an apple and they're just kind of like staring at each other and it's deeply uncomfortable. Oh, but will it come back later? Yes.
Yes. Everything that's set up here will come back except Pierce Brosnan's wife, who will
Except
not
his
come
wife.
back.
No, unless you watch the director's cut. God, then we get more shots of brain treatment with Job in the cup with Larry on a treadmill doing workout updates. And apparently, Job is making good progress and he's responding well to the drugs and his brain activity is improving much better than Jim's. Ooh, so he did get his human subject. All good.
He's now just as smart as a chimp.
Exactly. And now he's really good at playing that flying simulator game because he's beating Peter. And Larry tells Job that you've graduated to the next level.
Ooh, that was a bit the kid. It's a weird bit. I can't. I had to rewind it several times. I couldn't quite work out what he said. But when Joe beats him, the kid takes his head off and goes, takes the helmet off and goes, "That was Skadge."
Like, Skadge?
What?
I don't know.
What
Early 90s
about?
speak. I don't know. Whatever. Oh dear. Okay, then what happens? Yeah, this really weird scene where Job is topless in his shack and he's looking at photos of cowboys. And then Father McKean comes in going, what's going on here? Some sort of perverted behaviour. And he goes to beat the shit out of him with a belt, but then Job stops him and is like, you shouldn't hit people. I was like, well, no, you shouldn't. That's quite right.
You shouldn't hit people. But also, I mean, it is a bit weird. I'm just
really
looking at pictures of cowboys.
Topless.
Yep. That's how I choose to spend my time.
Oh dear, oh dear. There's so much weird shit in this film. We're back at the secret base, and Larry's showing Tim's his work on Job so far, but he tells him they haven't been using the aggression drugs on the chimp. Hasn't been using the aggression drugs that they did on the chimp, and Tim's is impressed. Yes, go on. What were you going to say?
So yeah, this is the techno babble. I've totally reconfigured both the neurotopic and cyber learning programs without aggression vectors. And then Tim goes, "Of course, it all makes sense." No, it fucking doesn't. Shut up. It doesn't make any sense.
Makes sense to you, Tims.
It's just fucking nonsense. It's just techno nonsense. Someone's gone, that'll fucking do.
Nonsense, but yeah. So, in order to progress even further, Larry needs access back to the secret lab to further work on Job. Like, they didn't revoke his access. They just said, Larry, go take a break. It's not like, oh, get out of here, you, or something like that. But
you're fired.
He wasn't, knows nothing. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, there's this whole, oh, we've got to keep it a secret. I'm keeping it a secret from Tim's. I'm keeping it a secret from the director, but I'm not keeping it a secret from the director. What? What the fuck is going on?
I'm also telling Tim's.
Oh, goddamn Tim's. Then we get Marnie arrives at the gas station in Mercedes, and then we get LA Knight Jake flirting with her, and then she checks out sexy Job because
he stopped wearing dungarees and combed his hair. So
yeah,
ooh, hello.
Because being smart now means you style your hair and you wear nice clothes. And then Marnie doesn't
I've met some academics. No, you fucking don't. You wear corduroy and have the messiest hair known to man.
Yep. Then Marnie doesn't believe it's him and she's into it. And then Terry's all pleased with Job, going, oh, good for you, Job, like that. But
you can't get yourself some. I'll do a little jig.
And then he calls her like a whore or something. And Jake's like, no, don't speak to her like that. And then he punches Job. He's like, why didn't you punch Terry? He's the one who called her a whore.
Terry doesn't call her that. Terry just says something about how, like, oh, she's putting the belt all over town. He's like, don't you call her a whore. And he's like, no, whores do it for money. She likes it. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, Terry. So then we get Job and Larry driving along, and Job is concerned that people are noticing he's changing. And I've put, well, they would do. Well, 1 minute you're dressed like a hillbilly, and then you're dressed like you're modelling aftershave adverts. Completely different. And he's like, oh, maybe you should just keep it low key, carry on mowing the lawns. He's like, I want to mow the lawns. I like mowing the lawns. Well, good. you carry on doing that.
Well, you could, yes.
And then they arrive at the secret base, and I'm like, hang on a minute. Why are they letting Job in there? Like, all the security guards go, well, who's this guy? And why are you bringing him in here? Because it's still not common knowledge.
Yeah, he's Lawnmower Man. Oh, Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, Job. Yeah, cool.
You're right, mate.
Yeah. And then it's like, we mentioned it earlier, why is this secret base so dimly lit? And Job even says, it's like a dungeon in here, Dr. Angelo. He was like, you're taking him into a dungeon? Weird. And then
it was that weird bit as well when they first come in and they're standing in that little kind of room at the top looking over the lab. And I thought it was an elevator. I thought they were about to like go down in an elevator, but they don't. They stand there and then they run back and he just comes out the bottom.
I didn't spot that. That's weird. Oh, and then Job's all excited at the technology at the base. And then Larry's like, "Oh, you can fully immerse yourself in VR tech here," and he starts speaking a load of science jargon. I don't know whether you wrote that down, but it's a load of mumbo jumbo again. No, it's much of the same.
It's like we wear full cyber suits here. It's like, oh god, look like
this is going to come
Power
back.
Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. Shit, Power Rangers. Yeah, and then they're playing with the tech, and then Larry's having his brain enhanced again by flashing images and random symbols that keep showing up. Apparently, that's making them smarter. I don't know.
I wrote down something here where it's where Pierce Brosnan says, I think I've discovered a new planet, but one I'm creating instead of discovering. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, that really doesn't. Shit planet as well. Right, so now Job is involved in being very sexy, and he's now mowing lawns topless.
Says yo. He's just in his tight jeans, like.
He just seems to be a lot more ripped and oiled up and muscular. How has this happened?
This is Marnie's lawn that he's mowing for the second time this week.
Yeah, that's true.
You missed a point when she was at the gas station with him, where she said, "I'm looking forward to getting my lawn mowed soon." So, if you know what I mean, it is. I think she means sex.
Oh, and because he's smart now, he understands what she means.
He's like,
sex.
Lawn mode.
Got it.
Penis.
Yep. And not only is he involved in being sexy, he now seems to hear voices in his head because he can hear her being like, "Oh, look at him! Oh, yeah." And then, do you want to come over some lemonade? Because she's sort of standing there looking all flirty and not wearing much of that sort of stuff. And there he goes.
She's literally,
he's
literally holding lemonade.
You don't need the monologue.
You don't need the lemonade.
No,
we all know what you're getting at. It's like, oh, do you want to come in for some coffee? It's like, do I? Where's the coffee? Oh, I thought you wanted to have sex. No, coffee.
Coffee. But then just to make it very, very apparent, Terry starts going, "Oh, Jesus, mother of God, would you look at that?" It's like, "Go on, Job.
Get up there, get up there. You rattle the drain pipe."
Why does Terry exist in this film?
It's so pointless.
And then we get the most awkward sex scene ever, which is stick your tongue out. Oh, God, I want to watch this. So I'm glad I walked away with my parents at this bit.
It's written down. This is one of the most awkward things I've ever watched.
Horrendous.
Also, ostensibly, she is molesting a handicapped person.
Yeah. How is she into this? Oh, God, it's so weird.
Also, when they're in the bed, I'm like, what angle is this? I'm not quite sure how they're having sex at this point. She appears to be somewhere up around his navel.
Not that way, Job! Oh.
Terry pops up the window. Oh, Pagora!
Go on, my son. Anyway, and at this point, we're back at the secret base, and Larry says that Job has managed to absorb Latin within a couple of hours. And it's Timms. His name's Sebastian Timms. I keep referring to Sebastian. Timms says we need to tell the board what's going on and stop keeping it a secret. And again, I'm like, but don't the board kind of know what's going on? Don't know.
It's got like the Department of Synthetic Intelligence or something. And then he says, DSI is bound to offer you both tits. It's like, what are you talking about?
I don't remember that bit. Oh,
yeah,
he wasn't paying attention. What
Also,
tits are they talking about?
I'm assuming it basically means they're going to give him a shed load of money. But it's like, mate, be less sexually aggressive with the way you talk.
Yeah, come on.
Also, it's a bit where Job's learning. He's just reading Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, oh my God, I remember that thing. It had about 20 discs. I just want to do my homework. Why is it this difficult?
This only goes up to C.
Britannica, I forgot all about that. Oh, then we get a scene where Job and Peter are hanging out together and they're going to go to a cafe. And then Peter's like, Job's like, "Oh, I'm all smart now, so I don't need comics anymore."
Yeah,
so
smart people don't read comics.
No. So, yeah.
No, I definitely don't read any comics.
Definitely not.
I'm smart.
This camera can't see my comics, can it? Anyway. And then he starts having like these weird seizure-like symptoms, and I thought this is very RoboCop-esque. It's a bit like when RoboCop starts getting all those flashbacks in the first movie. I'm like, why is he getting all this digital flashback shit? It doesn't make any sense. At this point, he hasn't uploaded his brain or anything into the mainframe computer. So why is he getting all this shit? It doesn't make any sense.
There is a weird trope in sci-fi cinema that if you get smarter, you become psychic. or have telekinetic abilities. Have you ever seen that film? It's called Lucy with Scarlett Johansson.
I've deliberately avoided it. It looks crap.
Absolute bollocks.
Is
But
it?
it's the same thing. She gets smarter.
Right.
Humans only use 10% of their brain. Imagine if you used all 100. Is that, well, no, that's not true. We
That's
don't
Flight
just
the
use
Navigator
10%.
as well.
Yeah, it's not true. We don't just use 10% of our brains. And if we could use all of it, we wouldn't have telekinetic powers or be able to see through time.
It's nonsense. There were so many of these garbage films at the time. There was like Johnny Mnemonic. There was some other thing called like.
I've never seen that.
Oh, we can't cover it if we haven't seen it. Damn it. Yeah, and there's all these films that just deal with like the paranoia of technology. There's that awful film with Sandra Bullock, The Net. Like if you go on the internet,
Yeah.
your life will be ruined.
Yeah, the net, fully misunderstanding what's capable on the internet. Also, the net is the film that posits if your identity gets changed on the internet, people won't remember your face in real life.
Garbage.
There's also Virtuosity,
garbage.
which is
That's
same
the one.
director.
Yeah,
Same director.
But say that for Sniff Trivia. Anyway, so yeah, Job's really upset and then scared. It's like he just like drives off and leaves Peter in this cafe. I was like, hang a minute, you drove Peter out. How's he going to get home?
His dad's going to give him a one.
Yeah, I told you to stay away from him. Anyway.
Walking, not a son of mine.
Gotcha. And then Larry and Job are discussing Job's abilities, and he's like, even without the treatment, he reckons that he's growing at like, you know, some crazy rate, and now he's got like psychic powers. And then he reads Larry's mind, and Larry's like, cool, I best keep this away from Tim's. And he's like, who's Tim's?
Is that no one?
I'm so silly. Oh dear, I better not tell Tim's about this. And then right on cue, Timsy's talking to Hank Schrader on the video call at the secret base, and it tells him about Job. And the director wants him to give him that Project 5 dose, which was the drugs they were giving the chimp, which were making him crazy. But Larry hasn't been given Job that, so that's why he's only been going a bit crazy at the moment, not super crazy.
I mean, right. he's abandoned his ethics, but not entirely.
Not entirely. And then, yeah, the director says, oh, you need to do this by any means necessary. I was like, I wonder what Tim's will do. Then we get some more awkward sex with Job and Marnie. I was like, this is completely unnecessary.
When she says the line, you're the best ride of my life. Oh, no, wait, that's later.
But I'm sure she might have said it now as well.
Yeah, yes, no, she says it. She says it when they go down to the lab. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we get Tim swapping out the drugs for the Project 5 drugs in secret. I'm like, I thought Pierce Brosnan was keeping all the drugs at his house. I don't know. Maybe since they've been going to the lab, they've been using those drugs instead. I don't know. And also, wouldn't he go and give him the drug? Hang on a minute, that's the Project 5 ones. Or has he like sneakily put them in a different bottle or some shit? I don't know. Whatever. Then what? Then we get Larry's continuing the treatment with Job, but they start getting like warning alerts, and presumably because of the new drugs. And at this point, Job is like, I saw God. I touched God. I'm like, okay. So we've had talks of creating a new planet, and now you've touched God. Like,
what's going on? This makes no fucking sense.
No, we get open shirt Larry giving an audio log about Job's brain. How do you decide he's going to halt the treatment for a bit? I was like, yeah. You see how that works?
Yeah. See how he's losing his mind, yeah? Maybe just to be able to give it a rest.
Yeah. And then we get a bit where not only is he, psychic now, he's got telekinetic abilities, because then he starts opening and closing and moving his bathroom and squeezing a load of like toothpaste out.
He's made all this mess.
Bloody mess. Then we get shirtless Job.
I hope your telekinetic powers are going to clean that up.
Yeah, exactly. Bloody
you
mess.
You get telekinetically bring a fucking cloth over here, mate.
Yeah, because that's Marnie's house, right? That's
my bloody sink.
Yeah.
You want to spread toothpaste around, you do it in your shack.
Disgusting. And then, Job's watching porn at Marnie's house for some reason, some cool girl stuff. It's really, really weird. And then he can read Marnie's mind. And then he's like, oh, I got a great idea. And then suddenly he's managed to sneak her into the secret base. Like, hang on. You can sort of get around Job being allowed in there with Larry. How has Job and Marnie gone into this secret base and nobody's questioned it?
She's got security clearance. Also, the reason they were watching porn is because it was the 90s. It was only 4 channels. You get past 11 o'clock at night, there's fuck all else on.
But it's not even porn. It's just a fully clothed woman saying, give me a call. And he's sitting there watching it without a shirt on.
Yeah. Bit chilly. Yeah, a little bit.
And then, this is the bit with the ride of my life, because Job and Marnie get all strapped up to the VR tech, and he's like, oh, this would be the best ride of your life. He goes, so you're the best ride of my life. Awkward kissing. And then, so they go into it, and they start having presumably like cyber sex or something. Like,
it's weird.
It is weird. And that's the front cover of the DVD, the video. I always
Yeah,
wonder,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
that supposed to be?
It's
He's
on
like,
the
oh, it's
DVD.
two people having it off. Right, that's what it
It's
is.
on the
Okay,
DVD.
cool.
Yeah, they're just entwined in cyberspace. This gave nerds license to dream.
That'd be a weird Bond film.
License to dream. Just
Yeah.
Bond's in there going,
Yes.
having a think.
Marnie's initially fascinated by all, but then she starts making her go mad, and this essentially leaves her a drooling wreck. I'm like, but why? She hasn't been taking
He
any of these
licks her to
drugs.
death or something. I don't quite know what happens here.
Oh
He
yeah,
just
he
kind of
sort of turns
licks.
into a virtual monster or some
Yeah,
shit.
and then licks her, and then she goes mad.
Yeah, it's bizarre. At this point now, Job is now making the lawnmower move by itself, and that's a nice tie back to the Stephen King story, which we'll touch on later.
Also, he's mowing that lawn for the third time in what must be a week.
Marnie's lawn again.
It's Marnie's lawn. Why is her lawn so long?
I don't know. If our American fans are listening, please fill us in. How long does grass take to grow? Is it
I
a
mean,
day?
he's
2
standing
days?
there. He's standing there in like just completely topless, watching his lawnmower going around. She's mental. It's all gone crazy.
Yeah, she's now laughing to herself like permanently, like lobotomized or something like that. It's like, should you not call an ambulance or the cops or something? Like, no, I'm just gonna leave it lying on that bed while I cut this lawn. Like, all right. And then he's
The lawn's not going to cut itself.
no, it won't. And he's got a job to do, damn it. And then Job's questioning what Larry has done to him, and he's very, very angry. At this point, Timms wants Larry to fly to Washington, and he refuses because he needs to figure out what's going on wrong with Job. And then Tim's like, "No, we need to present our work to the shop." Yeah, then we get Job at the secret base, and he's demonstrating his powers to Larry. He's like, "Look, I can move this chair." Woo! I was like, "You've done far more impressive shit. Like, why don't you show him what else you can do? Like, I think moving a chair."
He basically killed someone already, so
Yeah, essentially. And then Larry wants to run some tests on him as this is new, but Joe believes that something about the power has always been within humans, but this technology has awoken it to evolve at a rapid rate. Really? When I used to go at the Trocadero and I had to go at the VR equipment, that never awoke shit in my mind. I was just like, this is
get
a
a
bit
bit of
rubbish.
headache.
Yeah, exactly. These graphics are terrible. This helmet's
Got a bit of emotions. Got a bit of motion sickness in my neck hurts.
Yeah. And then at this point, Larry starts going, no, Job. Hey, I feel you pushing my brain. No, stop it, Job. Come on, Pierce Brosnan, you're better than this. Much better than this.
and then Job, despite being smarter than Pierce Brosnan, just lets him go. He's like, yeah, you got Washington if you want. Do it.
Yeah, it's just the point when he's like, I've surpassed your intelligence, Dr. Angelo, or something like that. But yeah, just completely lets him go instead of just killing him. And he wants the treatment to continue. We get topless fag smoking Larry making another audio log explaining about his fear and how he surpasses his intelligence, but he fears for Job's sanity. He's like, so what are you doing about it? Why don't you section him or something like that? Or just stop him
Put a
going.
bullet in him.
Yeah,
Wait till he turns around, shoot him in the back of the head.
You're a risk, bang.
That's what they did to the monkey.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. When the monkey got out of control, they shot him. Like some people seem incapable of just stopping Job, but there's all these warning signs straight away. This is not going well. Anyway, so we get Larry in Washington, and he's giving a presentation of his findings to the shop in person this time, not video call. And then this is when that director's assistant drops this bombshell by saying, "Oh, the change in behaviours because of the Project 5 drugs." And Larry's like, "Hey, what? What the fuck?" And then Tim's is like, "Oh shit. Yeah, well, actually, I switched them out."
This is about the point where the film fucking grinds to a halt. Like,
Yeah.
I was already at this point getting bored, and this point, I just can't. I just gave up the will to live watching it at this point. I was like, what is going on? What is happening? And then there's a line at this scene which is wrong on so many levels. It's where he said and I will use this word once because it's in the dialogue, where he says, think what it can do for mental handicap. It could cure retardation or Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that
right,
sit well with me either. Yeah.
One, don't use that word. Two, Alzheimer's. Do you think that's a mental handicap? Why do you've misunderstood what that is?
Yes, it's offensive. Very, very offensive.
It's just lazy.
It is lazy. When you're doing a movie like that, surely do your research. Don't just take like, I don't know, some idea that came out from the 1960s or whatever and just upgrade it with technology. It's like, no, this is just nonsense what you're saying. It's utter nonsense. Oh, then what happens? Yeah, and then Timms reveals that Larry's new formulas have given him psychic abilities and all that. And then the director's like, yes, do tell me more. And then we get Oh no, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So then we get Job's driving along in Marnie's car, presumably, because it's a nice car, it's a Mercedes. Presumably he's going to the secret base, and then he starts taking all the drugs at once. So I inject them into his neck. So he's like, oh, so he's realised now that this is the key to getting smarter. He needs to take these drugs. I'm like, but does he though? I thought he was just fascinated with the technology. But yeah. And then we get a very unnecessary scene of Larry having a wash with his trousers on. What are you doing?
You've ruined those trousers.
And then instantly lights up a fag and has a whiskey, because of course, why not? And then Tim comes in and starts telling Larry off, but he's like, oh, just piss off, will you? And then he's saying...
The way that Tim comes in, it's just maybe it's just an old hotel room, but it kind of looks like he just walks out of a bathroom. It just looks like a door in the room. He's like, hello, I've been here all along.
But this always annoys me in movies, when people are just easily able to walk into a hotel room. It's like, hang on a minute.
That's hotel
security risk
from the outside.
No, certainly not.
Walk in. This is where Tim said, don't let juvenile ethics problems get in your way. So he has no ethics. He's demonstrated no ethics at any point during this film.
Nobody shows ethics at any point. And then Tim says they're bringing Job to Washington because the director wants a personal demonstration of him. It's like, yeah, you're going to die if you do that, but all right, fine. Then Larry goes to the windows. There's a bunch of goons outside ready to pick him up, and he flees, but not before duffing up Tim. So he really wallops him. Do it.
It's just the messiest little bitch fight.
Yeah.
And then Tim falls through a table and the fucking lamp hits him on the head. That's a dramatic fall, Tim's.
It is. And then we get what you were saying earlier when... Oh, no, Job's in the VR tech back at the base making sex noises. And then we get a shot of...
It's like, oh, for God's sake.
So awful. Then we get Larry running through the corridors of the hotel, but he's stopped by one of those guards. And then a waiter with a tray with a bottle of champagne happens to go past. So Larry just clobbers him with it. I was like, you could have killed that man doing that.
Do you know how hard it would be to break a bottle of champagne over someone's head?
Well, he is James Bond.
Okay.
And then he takes the guard's gun, but for some reason gives it to the waiter. I was like, why have you given the waiter that gun? The waiter doesn't need it.
Cover him. The waiter does.
Okay, man, I've never met. Sure.
Oh, I'll be an accessory.
Oh, God. Then he takes his keys and runs off, and then we get shots of Job still screwing around with the tech at the base. And then Larry manages to steal a car outside from the hotel, just drives off. Like, hang on, was that the car? He just took the keys off. Did he just jump in a random car and just drove off?
It's also when he gets out, he gets outside the hotel to go get the car, but not before. He stops, has a cigarette,
of course,
looks around a bit, and then steals a car.
And the guy's like, hey!
He waits for like a solid minute of like,
I need this. Oh. And then at this point, Job's come out of the tech and he looks like completely wired. Like, oh, he's gone completely insane now. And then we get to another video call, and the director's not worried and tells Tim to go back and stop Larry from sabotaging anything. Take all his research away from him because it's in our hands now. Oh Jesus, we get a weird scene now. Father McKean is in his pants and his slippers, but for some reason he's put a coat over his shoulders because he wants to know what all the noise is. And Job's up in like the altar part or something like that. And he essentially starts glowing blue because he's still wearing that tech suit and he's talking in a robot voice now. And he sets fire to him. Yeah, it's like Tron. Shit Tron. And then he sets fire to Father McKean with digital flames.
Fire. It looks so shit.
I was like, what is this supposed to be? Like, why didn't he just set him on fire with real fire? What is this digital fire? Why is it working? It's truly awful.
It'd be like, I know, it's pixels, Not really.
Yeah, stop that.
Not really. It's a bit annoying. It's quite bright.
So next, he's going to exact his revenge on Jake. And Jake's outside having a fag outside the gas station because why not?
The fire would have made more sense for him.
Yeah, exactly. Just through
thematically, it would have made more sense. Yeah. It would have made much more sense.
What he does to Jake is weird. He starts giving Job shit, and then a load of fire hoses, petrol hoses, tie him up so he can't move. I was like, yeah, that looked tacky and rubbish.
Shit, Nightmare on Elm Street sequel.
I wrote that Nightmare on Elm Street 2 vibes.
Yeah.
Start spanking his ass with towels and stuff like that. But yeah.
Ooh.
And then he does that. He does this weird sort of side flip, like whoa, before he falls over. It looked rubbish. And then Job gets this really awful CGI of his mouth with shears in his eyes, and he just puts it into Jake's brain, and then he says something like, "Lawnmower Man is in your mind now, Jake, forever." And he just leaves him there. I was like, did he kill him, or did he just make him go mad? What? Jake was a real arsehole to him all throughout. Why didn't you kill him? And like you just said, why not the fire? It's ironic.
Yeah, Yeah.
It's bizarre, just bizarre. Then we're back at the abusive father's house. Now, this is kind
Gotcha.
of good. His name's Harold. Now, this is kind of where the tie-in comes from the Stephen King story, and I'm sure you're going to talk about this in your trivia, but this is
Barely.
probably the loosest tie-in to the story. So, this guy Harold is knocking everyone about in the house, so Peter and his mother Carla, and at this point he starts watching retro WWF. It's like a Tito Santana match. Oh, that's Vince McMahon on commentary as well. I noticed that because wrestling nerds.
Yeah.
And there's presumably some sort of mind control trick from Joe because suddenly Peter and his mother are like, they just like pass out. This lawnmower just bursts through the door. It starts chasing after Harold all through the house. And then he gets outside and he's like, no! And he just cuts away. That is so rubbish.
It's the bit I remembered most from the film as that happening.
Really? I don't remember any of that. Oh, God. Then what happens? Then Larry arrives the next morning and there's paramedics everywhere. Oh no, what's going on? And he gets talking to these two bumbling cops. And at first they start saying, oh, there was 2 murders last night. Harold, the abusive father, and Father McKean, but also Marnie was found wandering around. She's been lobotomized. How do you know that? What? And then suddenly they changed their mind. Go, actually, no, there was nothing to see here. It was just an accident. Yeah, an accident. What's going on? And then when you see Job over there, like, oh, okay, mind control. He's making them forget like some Jedi shit. Got it. And at this point, Larry has seemingly now adopted Peter and his mother because they all come into a embrace like, oh, come here, you. Wait, what?
A, he's your neighbour. It's weird. And B, it's because his wife's not in anymore. He needs someone to hug.
Exactly.
He needs a family. Otherwise, what stakes does he have? Despite the fact that Job has shown no interest in hurting those people whatsoever.
None. Then we get Job.
At this point, I'd started to just lose the will with this film entirely.
Oh, it goes off a cliff at this point. As if you hadn't already. It's just dreadful. So yeah, Job's in Larry's basement again, fucking around with the VR tech, and then Larry looks inside the goggles, and then Job has somehow projected himself in there, even though he hasn't yet. It's like, okay, what? And he's all like, "Oh, look, Job, stop! You're having a psychotic breakdown. I can help you," and this sort of shit. And then this is when Job explains his master plan is to upload himself into the virtual reality mainframe computer at the secret base. He's going to become pure energy permanently, and he's going to be in cyberspace. And then the last bit is like, my birth call will be every telephone call on this planet ringing simultaneously. It's like,
Look, I've seen Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah, it's good.
And I've been going ripping it off. Yeah.
And then Job reads Larry's mind at the shop on their way to get him, and he's like, oh, you've betrayed me. He's like, no, he didn't. Tim's did. And then restrains Larry in a chair, and then he puts a VR helmet on his head so he can watch. Then suddenly it becomes dark outside all of a sudden. I was like, wait, what?
It's night now.
The shop arrive in a van with TV screens so Hank the director can watch on it or something. And this is the most awful CGI I've ever seen in my entire life. I've seen 8-bit computer games better than this.
Do you mean the floating Games Master head?
Yes. Oh my God, Games Master. I remember that with Desmond Llewellyn.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, and then it's a digital gold Job head. And it's appearing above the house, going, and then it just turns these 2 henchmen into pixels, and it's fucking terrible. What is going on? They're all turning into little circles.
and then director Hank just goes, turn that off.
And it isn't the last we see of Hank in this film.
No consequences. None.
He doesn't get killed or anything.
Oh, well.
Because I even looked at the director's cut. Oh, does Hank get some comeuppance? No, he doesn't.
No,
I don't know if he pops up in the sequel or something, but yeah. Oh, yeah, he's looking horrible.
I've never seen the sequel.
I don't want to see the sequel. Apparently, the only tie-in is that little kid Peter's back in it. That's it. So Job tells Larry he's going back to VSI to upload himself, and by 2001, everyone will be hooked into this big database, and thus will be hooked into him. I'm like, how?
Hold on, checks calendar. Nope.
No, that didn't happen.
Have you seen that film with Bruce Willis, Surrogates?
No. Is that awful?
That's a very similar premise, although it's basically people stay in their homes and have robot avatars that walk around in the world outside.
Oh, okay.
It's not a very good film.
It doesn't sound very good.
No, don't watch it. Waste of time.
At this point, Job's like, I'm sorry if you hate what you have created. So he gets some Frankenstein monster vibes.
Yeah, you're not earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no, wait, no, we do get one more shot of the director. He's on a video call again, and he tells Timms to get rid of all that research, destroy it, because now Job's coming, so don't even try and salvage it, just get rid of all of it.
burn the evidence, burn it.
And at this point, presumably it's a mind control trick from Job, because Terry, not questioning anything, was like, oh, I better go pick up Job. And then just goes back in his van and drives over there. It's like, where's this guy been for half the film?
Yeah, he's been there for like 40 minutes. Last time he saw him, it was like, oh, and now he's just like,
yeah, I'm going to go pick up this murderer. And then Peter and his mother in a smashed up car. And I mentioned this earlier. I was like, why is the door smashed? Like, is there something in the director's cut about that? Or is that just supposed to be that bike?
Maybe the lawnmower chewed it up when it was chasing the guy.
Yeah, you're right.
That it could have been probably was it. I don't know.
Yeah. Then we get Peter running after the truck going, Job! Job's like, have you not seen what this dude has done? The mass destruction he's got. Why are you still treating this guy like he's your friend? At this point, Larry's still in the basement all tied up, but Peter comes and rescues him, and then he starts like packing a bunch of CDs and then logging into the mainframe computer from his own home to try and sabotage Joe's plan or some shit. 90s computer crap again. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like pre-widespread internet use. What we think computers can do, they can't do any of that stuff.
None of this shit.
It's a bit where people like tapping, like tap 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 tap. It's like, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing?
I know the code for this. No, you don't.
Tap 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 tap.
Yeah. Timms is erasing discs at the secret base, and he sent an army to the front gate to stop Job. And for some reason, Job has melted Larry's car. He's melted the steering wheel and the pedals, but for some reason, he's done that to the hired goon's truck as well. But he's left all the bombs in the back. I was like, surely you'd melt all the bombs so he couldn't. Why?
Or surely, if you were this committed, you'd blow up all the bombs and kill Larry,
Yeah.
the only person who can stop you or knows where you're going or what you're planning to do.
No, but for plot reasons, he's left all the bombs. So Larry takes them. And then Terry and Job arrive at the secret base, and he uses his powers to open them. And then Job uses a load of CGI bees. Bees?
Bees?
To attack the guard. What the hell is this? All because he saw a toy bee on Terry's truck earlier on, like that. So then he sent CGI bees to kill them.
You got these people like firing their guns at CGI bees. Going,
oh, it's nonsense.
Oh, it's absolute bollocks.
And
it looks horrible. It all just, I cannot stress enough how ugly this film is to look at.
It is.
Looks
and I wonder,
awful.
Back in 1992, did people genuinely watch this go, these effects are incredible? Because, you know,
the effects are bad. The staging, the scenery is just, it's ugly. It's flatly shot. It's flatly lit. Everything looks bad. There's no art in the direction whatsoever. It's just point camera, people talk, right? Move camera slightly. It's like just, there's no artistry to it.
No, it's horrendous. At this point, Job and Terry park up, and out of nowhere, the guy just shoots Terry. Like, oh, he just dies. And then Job looks really annoyed, and then he makes that guard shoot himself with his own gun. And then confronts Timms at the secret base and blows up the discs, and then he depixelates Timms or something, but he doesn't quite do it because then later when Pierce Brosnan sees him, he's like, help me! It's just like big circles.
It's like, no Timms.
No Timms, I will not help you. Larry's driven to the base with Peter and his mother, and he tells them to wait. And then for some reason, someone's just left a rifle outside. And Larry's like, right, I'll take that. Just goes inside with it. And then Peter says,
the mum as well. The mum and the son just drive around the corner and then park up.
And then there's a funny bit coming up. I'll explain in a bit. And Job strapped himself into the VR tech because he's going to upload him. Larry makes his way inside the secret base, and then that's where he sees Tim. Like, just doesn't do anything to help him. And then he starts planting all these bombs, but he sets them for 15 minutes. Why 15 minutes? Why not set them up for 5 minutes or some shit? But sets them up for 15 minutes. And then Job just starts shrinking in his suit for something like, if you're uploading your mind into this computer, why would that cause you to just disintegrate? It just doesn't make any sense. Larry's like trying to stop the computer, and he's trying to deny all the exit points for Job to get into the computer. And at this point, he notices that Job has turned into a shit-looking mannequin. Then we cut back to Peter and his mother. For some reason, Peter's mother's fallen asleep. His mother asleep.
She literally drove around the corner and went, well, wait here till he's finished blowing up that base. I'll just have a little kiff. I'm just resting my eyes. I've had a long day. I've been at work.
it would have made more sense if Job had done that mind control thing, but he doesn't know Peter and his mother are there at this point. So it just doesn't make any sense.
And
So
Peter, being the little shit he is, can't stay in the fucking car. He's like,
no,
well,
kids
I'll
must
go.
save the day. Yeah,
Except he doesn't do anything.
doesn't do shit. He just jeopardizes the situation. Yeah. So Larry straps himself into the VR tech to stop Job, and then they start fighting in cyberspace. And at this point, it just looks like a Super Nintendo computer game, and a really bad one. In fact, they did do a Super Nintendo game with this, and it looks rubbish. It looks
it looks awful.
And then Job digitally crucifies Larry or something, starts talking about how he's a god. Oh, Jesus.
Just the bit where Job like uploaded his mind to the mainframe a while ago, it just kind of looked like he'd gone down like a digital plug hole.
Yeah,
because it was all like a big look, fucking whirlpool. It's like down the shitter. It's like, yeah, that's an apt metaphor for this film.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh God!
And also, it's like I'm going to escape into the World Wide Web. It's like fucking 90s. What are you going to do? Interrupt people's dial-up?
And do you know what? They don't mention the internet at all in this film, because I thought, oh, it's virtual reality and internet. It's like, no, it's just virtual reality. So what are you trying to do? Just get into people's games consoles or something?
You've uploaded yourself to a Sega fucking Saturn.
Yeah, I'm trying to play Sonic. Fuck off, will you? Like,
Job, stop. Get.
Oh, Mark. Maybe lose all my rings. Anyway, and at this point, there's 5 minutes left on the bombs, and Job realizes that Larry set this up, and he's gonna. If they blow up, Job's going to die within the computer or that sort of thing.
Fundamental misunderstanding of how computers work.
Yeah.
Especially if he's online. If he's in the internet isn't a physical space.
No, exactly. Oh, no, it's because he hasn't escaped into the main network or some crap. He's only in the mainframe computer.
It's like just like breaking your phone and losing all your holiday photos.
Basically, yeah. Oh. But at this point, he realizes that Peter's there, because Job and Peter have that connection. He frees Larry so he can escape, and then unlocks the doors. Larry and Peter start to escape, and then Mum wakes up from her nap. Good. And then Job finally gets an exit point within the network and is able to escape somehow or another. And then they all make outside. The entire building blows up just as they make it outside. Yay! Tango and Cash all over again.
The explosion would have turned our insides to jelly.
Christ. And then it's presumably sometime later, Larry's leaving another audio log with a cigarette, but decides presumably to quit smoking, because just puts it out. And he vows to take his work underground, like Banksy? And then,
I mean, you're already in a basement. You're pretty much underground, mate. Yeah. How much further underground do you want to go? Like the Tube? Yeah. Just doing it on the Victoria line.
Yeah, no signal down here. And then at this point, his new adoptive family arrive. It's like, oh, come on, we're going to leave. Like, go where? Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Why don't you just stay living there? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And at this point, just they're about to leave, the phone rings. And then cut to phones ringing all around the world. Credits.
With an end credit piece of music that sounds an awful lot like Terminator 2.
An awful
lot like Terminator 2. I was like, oh, they just ripped it. And then it's like, it's like,
So we come to the end of our journey. Let's rewind back. 1990. Oh, well, you didn't watch it in 1992. So when you were like 10, 11, 12 or whatever, what did you love and or hate about it back then?
So I think what will be a running theme with these podcasts is that what you're looking at back when we were younger, people without critical faculties coming to love cinema and narrative fiction in all its different forms. And the more films I could consume at the time, the better, right? So anything that's good. It's very few things that I'd look back at the time and go, oh, that's not very good, is it? I think Batman and Robin might be the first one that I ever sat down and went, oh, that was shit. And so things like this would have, the special effects would have been something, just the tone of it, the fact that it seemed vaguely horror adjacent when you're like 10 or 12 is the kind of thing that can appeal if you're into that kind of thing. The effects, I think at the time, were probably quite impressive, or at the very least, unlike anything else you were seeing. Right? Apart from Terminator 2, there wasn't that much CGI floating around back at that time. Well, though I suppose by 95 you've got Toy Story and such, but it's still relatively rare to have films with that much, express this is CGI. So I think it's probably that. And as for hate it, I mean, I probably thought it was quite boring at points, but I would generally not be sitting there watching it. I'd be just pottering around doing other stuff. How about yourself?
Well, again, I hadn't seen much of it from when I was younger. I remember, I'll start with hating it. it was just boring. Like for the moment it started, like once we got past the bit with the monkey and all that, and it was just kind of like, oh, talking. Oh, this is bullshit. So I just didn't want to watch it. When I came back to rejoin the film, when it was all action and stuff, the bit I loved was the ending, where every phone on the planet rang. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I really, really like that. And yeah, that's about it. So I thought it was a bit boring. That's what I didn't like about it. I liked the ending. That was it. But it's one of those movies I know I've seen it, but can't remember it through either not really paying attention, walking out, forgotten about it. Don't know. So now we come to let's start with the positive stuff. Is there anything you like about this film now as an adult?
No. No, the performances are terrible. The script is terrible. It's ugly. The CGI is bad. It makes not a lick of fucking sense. It seems to be showing off effects which have dated really badly. Its treatment of mental handicap is awful. Its idea of what the good guy is confused at best. It's got characters that don't serve any purpose. It's got bits that don't go anywhere. It's broad as hell and not in a good way. The film's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you agree or do you
Yeah.
disagree?
No, I will start with the good. The good, Jeff Fahey. The bad, CGI awful. It looks cheap. Shirtless men non-stop. It should be called The Shirtless Man. How exactly?
No, I'm sorry, but the Jeff Fahey, no.
No, I did not mind. I was expecting him to be overplaying it, hamming it up.
He did.
No, I think they could have done a much worse job than this. That there have been films where people have played, inverted commas, simpletons a lot worse and a lot more offensive than this, and I didn't mind him.
It's still pretty bad. Like I got as I was watching this, I got a big old whiff of Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. Come on.
It was pretty bad. Like I've messed my hair up, I'm wearing dungarees and I'm gonna talk like I'm an idiot. Like what?
But he doesn't really talk like he's an idiot. That's my point. He just is a bit childish. That's it. And I don't know. I didn't mind Jeff Fahey. Pierce Brosnan's doing his best, but it's not great.
He hasn't got anything to work with. None of them got anything to work with. The guy who plays Tim's is terrible.
Could have cast anyone in that role, couldn't they? But yeah. What else did I hate about? Why has Job got supernatural abilities? We touched on this earlier, just because technology will make you psychic. No, it doesn't. The strong nons fights for the vicar. Didn't like that at all.
Not even nons fights for the vicar. Nons fights from Pierce Brosnan as well, getting him to come play games in his basement and not telling anyone about it.
Weird. Yeah. The awkward sex scenes, it's just uncomfortable. There's really jarring editing as well, and
scenes just end like scenes end dead. Like it's like and I finished my dialogue, done. It's like next scene.
Yeah, and again, it's that kid saves the day bullshit again. It's like, oh look, for fuck's sake! Like, do we really need this? Do we really need to do this subplot about the family next door? It's just nonsense. But yes, okay, right. Let's park that for now. Smith Trivia. Let's discuss some interesting things about this film.
Well, some interesting things. So, I was looking into this, and first of all, I started by looking at the director, Brett Leonard, and see what else he'd done. Now, not that much stuff, film-wise. All of it shit. Of his filmography, there are only two other films I've seen: Virtuosity, which is terrible, which came out I think the year after this, 2 years after this. It was not that long after. Terrible film, and a film he did later on called Feed, which I've seen, which again not great.
Okay,
probably the best of his films from what I've seen. Anyway, his whole thing was virtual reality and special effects. So he did a lot of work on music videos with, including with Peter Gabriel, who was known for pushing the envelope with his music videos. He also adopted different effects techniques for TV and games. So he's done a lot of stuff on TV. He digitized Danny DeVito for a game experience. So I think what he's done to push forward effects in television and film is probably more interesting than what he's done in terms of a director. He co-wrote this film with someone called Gimel Everett. And tell you what, Gimel fix it, but not your script. He's more of a producer than a writer, and his work is exclusively with Brett Leonard. Wow. So if you look at his filmography, they are locked. They've only ever worked together. So the 8 minutes of CGI in this film took 7 people 8 months to complete on a budget of $500,000.
Money down the drain.
Absolute. The film cost 10 million overall and took it out the box office. I've read different numbers on here, but the most commonly agreed one is 50 million global box office. Although, according to Gimel Everett's Wikipedia page, it took 125 million, which I don't fucking believe because I can't see that number anywhere else. It was the 43rd biggest film of the year it was released, beating, and this is three films that are Stone Cold classics: Candyman,
Okay.
The Muppets Christmas Carol, and Chaplin.
Oh God, Chaplin's a great film.
Great films, all three.
Yeah.
It's directly above the 44th biggest film of the year, which is Sleepwalkers. Now, have you ever seen Sleepwalkers?
Never even heard of it.
It's Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. It's about a mother and son, and the less you know, the better. Go watch it. It's fucking crazy.
Okay, cool.
It's terrible. It's also terrible because all Stephen King adaptations up to a certain point are terrible. There aren't that many good ones. The same year this came out, Aladdin was top of the box office, Batman Returns, Home Alone 2, all those films we love from our childhood, which definitely stack up. I actually rewatched Aladdin recently. It's really fucking good.
It is good.
I hadn't seen it in years. Talking about Stephen King. So this is presented as, or was presented at various points as Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man, because it was based on the short story The Lawnmower Man, although loosely based. So there was a script that this production company, which I believe was New Line Cinema, had called Cybergod. They basically took Cybergod, their script, whacked in a little bit of Stephen King and slapped his name on it. He hated that and sued to stop them from using his name in the promotion. That succeeded, and he was awarded 2.5 million in damages to stop them using his name. Now, a couple of years later, they bring out the special edition on Laserdisc. His name is all over it. He sues them again. That gets held up, and they keep ignoring it and keep putting his name on it until the judge orders them to pay $10,000 a day for every day that his name stays on copies that are out there, at which point they finally relented and took it off. His name remains in the credits, but they're not allowed to call it Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man because he basically said it had absolutely nothing to do. And you're right, the bit where the lawnmower kills the dad, specifically the line about bit of him still being in the bird bath, is really the only thing that has anything to do with this short story. The short story is sort of a satyr worshipper of the pagan god Pan, who uses a lawnmower to kill people. It's basically it's completely different. It's got nothing to do with virtual reality.
No,
that's more the obsession of Brett Leonard, the director for virtual reality, and that's how the whole thing came together. Apparently, this was David Koresh. You familiar with David Koresh?
No.
So, if you know Waco, the siege Waco. So it was an American siege. He was a cult, the Branch Davidians. He was the cult leader of the Branch Davidians. And when they found secret recordings taken of the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas, which the government later bombed and killed a bunch of innocent women and children, it was his favorite film.
Good God. He must have been crazy.
Yes, he definitely was, if this was his favorite fucking movie.
Yeah.
We've already touched on the deleted scenes, and I believe that's all of the Smith trivia that I have.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't have anything further to add. That was very comprehensive.
There's not a lot of trivia out there about this film. I've gone looking. There's not a lot beyond the fact that it was cut it was cut significantly from the first cut because it was 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and nobody was going to sit through this shit for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was actually, that's the other thing. It was the most successful independently produced film of the year it was released.
Interesting.
There you go.
There you go. I must say, the computer game of it that came out on the SNES was actually quite good. But then you can forgive that. It's like, this is a 16-bit games console. This is what the shitty CGI should look like, not in a movie.
Yeah. No, exactly. You don't want to put it on the big screen. It ain't going to stand up.
No, definitely not.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's going to come as no surprise. The final verdict, does it hold up?
Does it fuck?
No. No,
absolutely not. No, it's terrible.
No, it's abysmal. It's up there with some of the worst shit we've covered so far. It's really
This
bad.
is my lovely copy of The Lawnmower Man.
If you're watching on YouTube, Spiff is showing his DVD.
Yeah, I'm showing my DVD of the 10th anniversary in 5.1 Dolby Surround. Dazzling special effects, even better than Terminator 2, according to The Sun.
Good God. Oh, The Sun. There we go. That's your problem. That's your problem.
Yeah, fucking mugs. I'll be taking this and leaving it somewhere on a wall on a street for anybody who might happen to live in London. Come and grab it. There'll be a copy of The Lawnmower Man somewhere on a wall.
There you go. Could use it as a tea coaster or something like that. There you go. Right. So it's next episode's nomination. And it's my turn this time. So
you owe me one as well for this.
I do. So we are going to go to a year we haven't done yet. We're going to go to 1991.
Ooh.
And now in 1991 film, what would be a fun space adventure movie.
1991.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I'm drawing a blank.
Definitely has some space adventure. Not the film is not entirely set in space, but some space adventure. Let me help you out. It's a space adventure film that has a popular World Wrestling Federation wrestler in there.
Max Moon.
No, no, no.
Oh, is it Suburban Commander?
Suburban Commando from
Oh,
1991 with
good
our old
God.
friend Hulk Hogan.
Oh no, the human hot dog himself, Hulk Hogan.
Indeed. And also the Undertaker's in that movie as well.
He is, and he's described it as one of the worst experiences of his life.
Oh, well, we'll cover that on the next episode.
Oh, so we're going to have to cover a film starring a daft old racist.
Yeah, essentially. It's going to be
Great.
deeply troubling. But you don't have to pay money for it because that's also on YouTube. I found that some kind soul has put that on YouTube for us to watch. So there you go.
That's good. The less money I can spend watching this shit, the better, mate. The better.
Exactly.
I'm going to have to intentionally pick a good film at some point in the future.
That's the point of our podcast, though. We cover stuff that's shit or borderline. But there we go.
Well, I might pick something you think shit, but are wrong about.
Well, there you go. Right, just before we get out of here, just want to plug our socials. So you can reach us on email at itdoesn'tholduppodcast@gmail.com. We're on Instagram at itdoesn'tholduppodcast. We're on Twitter, or X as it's now known, at Doesn't Hold Up Pod. On YouTube at Doesn't Hold Up Podcast. And we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other good places you listen to podcasts. And remember, give us a good review on all your podcast platforms. And remember, we welcome all suggestions for things for us to cover. So do let us know. Cool. Right, Smith, is there anything you would like to say on this abomination of a movie that we've spent a long time discussing?
I would only like to sincerely apologise again for making you watch this film and say that my birthing call to the world will not be a ringing phone. It will be a slightly engaged tone. Like, that's how you know I'm on the mainframe.
There you go. All right. And I just want to say to everyone else, remember, being smart will make you instantly more sexy. Okay? So you go out there and you stimulate your mind and then you mow your lawn again and again and again and again.